Let's do it. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host, Nelson.
Yeah.
Ed. Bringing the energy, bringing it all today.
I'm feeling it.
He's feeling it.
I'm feeling it. It's a good day.
Ian has a lot to get off his chest. He went to go see the Vikings movie.
Yeah, that's right. I went and saw The Northman.
Yes.
The Northman, which is the third film by Robert Eggers. It was really good. I loved it. It's got 89% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
All right.
That's good.
And people are saying it's his best film yet. I can honestly say I have not seen The Witch or The Lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lighthouse looked kind of weird, man. It was like William Dafoe hanging out in the fucking lighthouse with Robert Pattinson. I was like, I don't know if I want to feel this. You know, I don't know if this is gonna be my movie.
Isn't William Dafoe the guy that used to hang out at Velardo's?
Yeah.
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 I can see him being scary.
He is pretty scary. But William Dafoe is also in The Northman.
Mm.
He plays a wise man slash. Like,
Oh, is he in there also?
Yeah, he's like a part jester, part like mystic. It's really weird, like his role. But the movie, if you go into it, it's a 2.5 hour movie. It is a Viking saga epic. Like there's a lot of action, there's a lot of violence, but at the same time, Robert Eggers makes out there visionary movies. And I knew that going into it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna prepare for this.
Yep.
You see some shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of customs and shit that Vikings did
Yep.
that we don't do no more.
Yeah.
For good reason, right?
Yes. And like there was a lot of hallucinogenic stuff. There's a lot of ritualistic stuff, and some of it was cool. Like some of it, like when they gained like the berserker, like the rituals they did before battle the night before.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty
man,
wild
It
shit.
made you want to like
Yeah.
start murdering people in the theater. At least me, anyway.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things you were watching. You're like, did I just like you were trying to rationalize what you were seeing. It's definitely not a movie to eat an edible. Well, maybe it is. I was gonna say you're going for a ride though. You eat a couple THC gummies and watch that. You're oof.
Is it along the lines of like the way that the Mayans used to do like mutilations and sacrifices and things like that as part of their customs?
The Vikings did sacrifice, yeah. Like when they for instance,
What's it called? Blood Eagle?
that's the Vikings would execute people that
they had pretty horrific ways of letting other people know we got him. He's dead.
Yeah,
You can see him.
A blood eagle. They would cut open your back and they would pull your lungs out. They would remove your ribs from the back. By the way, you're alive.
Yeah.
You're like this. You're handcuffed like this.
Sounds fun.
And like, well, not handcuffed.
Yeah.
They
All
invent
tied.
that. Yeah. Roped up. But anyway, they would cut through your ribs, like on the edges of your spine, and they would pull your lungs out through your back, and it would look like the red wings of an angel. So they called it a blood eagle.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it was a way to murder someone that like apparently the person wronged you, and you'd only do it to someone that really wronged you.
Yeah.
But if they died this way and didn't cry out, somehow didn't cry out in pain, then they were forgiven everything.
There aren't enough edibles to.
Oh,
it sounds like the witch trials. Like, we'll cover. Here's a big stone. We're gonna throw you in the water. If you swim to the top, you're not a witch. But, you know.
But if at any time you wanted to opt out, they would behead you. Like they would mercifully kill you.
I would say right at the beginning, like the first slit.
As soon as you smack my rib with a hatchet, I'm tapping. I'm done.
Who needs Valhalla anyway? Send me on my way.
I'll go somewhere else. I won't see you guys in Valhalla. It's fine.
I learned about it in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have in the game.
It happens in the game with one of the characters.
That's the next game.
And they have all the hallucination things. They have a dozen hallucinogenic missions in the game as well. So like all of that stuff from the Vikings is in there.
Well, then Robert Eggers must have played Assassin's Creed Valhalla because it's like, I mean, at one point you're watching something and like you constantly you're thinking it. You're like, did I just see that? Like, what did I just see? Like, because the Vikings ate shrooms before they went into battle. That's where the berserkers came from. They were a really hallucinogenic culture. They were really spiritual and like vision. I mean, their funeral. They show you a Viking funeral. That gets friggin' nuts. They show you like a ritual that like when a king and his son, who's going to be the prince, like he has to become a man. They go through that ritual. Dude, you see some shit. And like at one point in time, I know in the trailer, and then when I saw it in the movie, it looks like a Valkyrie. You see a Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And it looked like she had braces on. And I was like, what the hell? There's no way they fucked that up. The's no way they
Yeah.
left braces on the actress.
Right.
And then here, apparently, back in the day,
Yes.
there were a lot of teeth carvings.
Yep.
Where they would they put gold in the teeth and stuff of like they put runes and stuff in the teeth of Viking nobility and stuff like that.
That's
So I was like,
sick.
what? They had dentistry back then? I'm
Damn.
like, so The Northman's a good movie. Me personally, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I loved it. I'm a big fan of Viking culture. Just go into it with an open mind.
Yeah.
Don't go into it thinking you're seeing an everyday film. It is Viking.
It's a Viking movie.
Yes. It is the most accurate depiction of Viking culture you will ever see. It was a Viking
I like
epic
it.
saga, but at the same time, it was part like independent art film. Like I
Right,
was like,
right.
what the hell
Okay.
are we doing? But
I like
I loved it. I loved it. I sat through the whole thing and I would watch it again.
I'll definitely go see it. Speaking of one Viking going into another, let's talk about Thor.
Yeah.
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
Love and
Okay.
Thunder.
Trailer looks
The
great.
trailer looks fantastic.
Love and Thunder was actually Ed's nickname.
That's because Thor was mine.
Oh, shut
So
Yeah. You're the only
Pin
one
drop.
laughing at that
Pin
one.
drop.
It was good. It was good. It was good. It was good.
All right,
So
so-
no, we saw the trailer.
looks great.
Yep.
It does look great.
Yes.
At one point in time, they teased to his old costume.
Yes.
Halfway
Yeah.
through the run.
Yes. I like that they were showing like, all right, Thor's like, all right, I got to get my ass back into shape.
Yes.
You know, sick of being fat Thor. Time to be Thor.
The chain.
Yeah, he's-
Yeah.
Battle ropes.
Yeah,
He's doing
chain
battle ropes
rules,
with like
yeah.
heavy iron chain.
As Thor would do. I'm sure that there's some big monster like Sutter tied to the end
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Fat
it's just
Thor was like a pop culture thing, and people
Yeah.
liked Fat Thor.
They did.
He was.
They're like
he was a
one-
pop doll. I mean,
They're like one of us.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, bring Thor back to his original form.
I don't think most people realize he wore a fat suit for Fat Thor.
Yeah,
he, didn't,
yeah. Chris
he didn't-
Hemsworth didn't get fat.
he didn't get fat.
Chris Hemsworth has a fitness thing.
Yeah.
I don't
He's got
think
a
he has the
fitness-
ability
like,
to get fat.
No, I mean let's
Genetically.
just be honest here. Chris Hemsworth is a beautiful man. I mean, I'm sorry, I could say that. Watching that trailer, that dude's like Jesus, man.
Yeah.
That guy can play Thor for another 20 years.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
my
Oh, yeah.
God.
for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
if you hold it together, that's what happens.
Good Lord, what the hell?
So some of the
What are you eating, Chris?
some of the controversy, of course, a lot of people are having with some of the casting moving forward, like
What?
Hulk,
People-
She-Hulk,
People complain
Thor
about
and-
things. What?
Lady Thor?
Lady Thor.
Ah, that's right. The
Now,
trailer.
I gotta say, you can tell she put on some weight.
that,
muscle.
That woman's
Yeah.
arm was cut.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because she is a very petite actress.
Unlike the woman that played Sonya Blade in the Mortal Kombat film. Hashtag no shoulders. Hashtag
All of the
you ain't
Twinkies.
beating nobody up.
Hashtag
Yeah.
all of the Twinkies.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yes.
so
Skinny
she,
fat.
Natalie Portman.
Yep.
She looks fantastic for the role. She definitely put on some mass for it. Some of the people are saying
That's
like,
Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
yeah, that's Natalie Portman. Oh yeah.
yeah,
That was Natalie Portman's arm.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jane Foster picks up the mantle of Thor.
They're bringing her back.
Wow,
from-
Natalie.
from-
Wow. Wow. Way to get after it, girl.
Yes.
My
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Listen, you got.
I saw that arm holding that hammer. I was like, bro, you
got-
get the delts on that girl.
Yo, you playing a hero, you got to show up for the role, and the
Yeah.
girls are taking it serious. So I
See,
applaud her
it
for
can
that.
happen.
It
It can
can.
happen. She
can.
went all G.I. Jane. That's fucking awesome. Jesus.
Now it'll be interesting to see how close to the comics they stick with it. You can see the hammer is kind of cracked and in pieces, but put back together.
Now,
when
is
she
that
has
like
it.
is that a metaphor to when Hela caught it?
Yes.
Yes.
and crushed it?
I believe in theory it is that hammer, and I think something happens where Thor is gone and they need someone to take up, and she ends up getting the hammer gets put back together for her
Right.
in some manner.
He puts down the mantle to find himself again. Basically, he's
So-
looking to reinvent.
He's going on a
Thor.
spirit quest.
Right,
He's
and
like,
so-
who do I want to be? And he's hanging out with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly.
So
So,
that's
Thor,
going to be some bromance.
Thor is
Yeah.
needed.
Except for Chris Pratt.
She is the Thor. Essentially, is the protector of Midgar, which
Yeah.
is another
and,
name for
and
Earth.
with
Right,
Thor
Realm
being
of
gone,
us,
putting the
immortals.
mantle down temporarily, somebody's got to pick it up.
Exactly. So I think that some of the people are getting a little bit ahead of themselves, thinking that she's going to take over Thor and Chris Hemsworth is going to step away. I don't think that that's the case. He's expressed very honestly, very boisterously, like, I want to be Thor. I'm going to be sticking around.
You can't replace him. He's,
No, I don't
He's
think.
my
I don't think
God.
you can.
Yeah, I believe
You
even,
couldn't build a better Thor.
I believe
Exactly.
even in the comics, it's only a temporary thing.
Where he
And
gives up the mantle.
Where she even has it, and in the comics, I believe she actually has cancer, and
Ah.
she's dying.
And it cures her of her
And,
cancer.
and while she's holding it, I believe while she's holding it, it helps. But then when she puts it down, she's like worse off every time. So it's like it's like weighing like someone needs to step in and help. But if I do,
so if I put the hammer down, you get hyper cancer.
Yeah, it's almost like she gets worse. If I remember it correctly, it's been a little while.
Probably like the effects of an unhealthy person.
That's like bittersweet.
That's
actually I'm sad now.
Yeah, I think what they're leading towards is since the Marvel universe is fighting bigger, badder, celestial beings,
planet-sized enemies now.
Planet-sized enemies that they're leading into evolving the characters. They've already touched base on
Thor Force.
They've already touched base on
that made me happy.
Iron Man.
That made me happy.
They already touched base on Iron Man becoming Ultimate Iron Man.
Yep, superior.
Just don't make Tom
Superior
Cruise
Iron
Man
Man with Tom Cruise.
Don't know.
Now, so the Thor Force is the Thor Force, but the ultimate version of Thor is Rune Master Thor.
Now, for dumb Neanderthals like me, explain what is the Thor Force, because I literally just got it dropped on me today, which is good. Made me happy.
Yeah.
Eventually, Thor inherits his father's power. So the Odin Force, the thing that he was using to keep him alive and keep everything in check. Eventually, Thor gains enough power where he takes that in, and then he renames it, obviously. Now, it's not Odin's Force anymore. It's his.
Thor Force.
So it's Thor Force. So he becomes...
Sounds more powerful.
He's like cosmic being level at that point.
He gains the Odin Force, but then in order to end the cycle of Ragnarok, he has to give up Mjolnir, or when it's destroyed...
Or as they say in the movie, meow meow?
Yeah, meow meow. He gives up meow meow. No, it's destroyed. So then he becomes Rune King Thor.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah, Thor's got some levels he could still go to.
Yeah, sounds like he should have like some like rings in his beard. With that. Rune King Thor.
Yeah,
so that's some dwarven shit.
But so does Iron Man. So does Hulk. Hulk at some point, I think, which is where they're probably leaning towards as well, is that She-Hulk takes over the more like Avengers tasking of the Thor of Hulk,
and then Hulk becomes an accountant.
He becomes Cosmic Hulk, which is a blue version of the Hulk with cosmic powers, extremely strong, like almost pretty much unstoppable. Version.
They're
going to
need that for those planet-sized enemies.
Yes, and I think that's where they're going to go with a lot of their characters. If they don't get rid of them, like that's why like the Hawkeyes are kind of like step into the side or becoming more street level
again.
You know, because they have a purpose. It's just the fight is getting beyond what you can do.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, you gotta sit this one out, Black Widow.
Sorry. Oh, damn, that was cold, bro. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to the evolution of a lot of the characters.
That's actually, I mean, a fun fact. In the movie The Northman, half Thor Bjornsson is in it.
Oh, is he?
And I had no idea he was in it. I remember Alexander Skarsgård, the guy playing the main character, Prince Amleth, is 6'5". He's a northern guy himself. That's why they picked him for that role in True Blood. He played the elder vampire.
Yeah,
but
he's a big motherfucker.
He's a big guy. He's 6'5". Yeah. But they were playing this game. There's a part in the movie where he's a slave, and like they're playing this game, and it's this game with this stick, and it's kind of like it looked like rugby with clubs. I mean, it was fucking ridiculous. And apparently, it's a real sport they made slaves play in Iceland and shit.
Damn.
And like, I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, there's a guy playing the game. Yeah. And I'm going, that guy's big as fuck. I'm like, no, wait a minute. Like that's the biggest guy on the field, and I know Alexander Skarsgård is a big guy, but he looks little next to this guy. Like, who the fuck is... And then when I saw like the face, like, I was like, oh shit. I was like, that's half Thor Bjornsson. I was like, they were filming in Iceland, and they were like, hey, what are you doing? You want to come down and be in this movie? Like,
and what's amazing is that's half Thor after he slimmed.
Oh, for the boxing fight, yeah.
Because if you look at the before and after pictures of him, he was gigantic.
Oh, when
the mountain.
When he played the mountain, when he actually played the mountain,
compared to his slimmed down self, like he was gigantic. So that's his thinner version, and he still a massive person.
Oh yeah, when he was playing the mountain in Game of Thrones, they were saying on set he would have to eat because he was still training to be a strongman. Mm-hmm. So he's on set, 6'10", and he's eating 15,000 calories a day. Like the one girl that was in 300, she played Queen Cersei.
Yes.
She would always take pictures with him. She was like, I can't believe how big this freaking guy is. He's literally like I mean,
You have to feel like a subhuman.
Well,
Standing
some of the people had trouble with the props because they were using real weapons in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
They were using iron forged.
Not a problem for him.
No, he would actually hold a two-handed Scottish claymore like it was like a toothpick. He could hold it out like
a one-handed sword.
I mean, this is a guy that throws he threw a washing machine. I think it was like 25 feet or something. So literally,
Imagine walking onto a battlefield, right? And across from you, you see this motherfucker of a man. You're just like,
man,
I'm dying today.
Well, if you did that, I'd be like, I'd see him and I'd be like, okay, I start walking left.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be straight across from him. Like, fuck that. Like,
You start talking shit like, I'm gonna kill you, motherfuckers, as you slowly
I might try to run on this side of the field and work my way behind him. Like I ain't meeting that head on.
Like not running directly at him.
I'm
not at
gonna
all.
sneak stab him.
But actually, speaking of half Thor,
ain't no honor here.
there was a couple of stipulations and side bets that him and Eddie Hall had for their boxing match.
He got
Really?
you talking about that too?
I'm talking about the tattoo.
You talking about that
yeah.
too?
So
Eddie got the tattoo.
One of the things that Eddie had to do was get a tattoo. So it was whoever lost had to get the winner's name tattoo.
World's strongest man, either Eddie Hall,
Yeah.
or sucks for fucking Eddie Hall, world's strongest man, half Thor Julius Bjornsson.
Yeah.
God, dude,
It's a
he
long
had the
name.
whole name.
It's
Eddie
the whole name.
Hall, Eddie Hall got it
It's
on the
funny.
bottom of his foot, and he even said, he's like, "Could you have a longer fucking name?"
But
hey, props to Eddie for getting it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he
did it.
literally
He
he
did
owned
it.
up to a bet. Like
he was laughing. He was a good sport about it. And then he was also donating money to charity on
And-
behalf
and he
of
had to pay-
half Thor.
yeah, and he had to pay $10,000 to Larry Wheels.
To Larry
'cause there was a
Wheels
bet there, too.
for another bet.
So props, Eddie. You manned up. I mean,
Yeah.
you
And-
took the loss and you saved face by actually owning up to everything you were supposed to do.
Something I found interesting surrounding the fight when I was looking at it afterwards was there were people that were posting up fake stats, different heights, different weights. Like there was several versions of it, and like some making it look worse, some making it look better.
Were they trying to change the
Yeah,
betting parameters?
like there were people that like manipulated the versus image where they moved Eddie Hall to the front to edge out like
him look bigger.
visually
Yeah.
half
How much
Thor
smaller
and
it
all
was.
those kinds of like it's hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, people
That was
looking for any edge that they can make to make some money off of somebody else. So
Yeah.
They were even saying. I saw something earlier that was tweeted that said like the big case that's going on right now. In case you guys aren't aware, the Captain Jack Sparrow and Amber Heard case.
Yeah.
Supposedly 11% of the Twitter accounts that were tuning in online were fake.
Oh.
11%,
Not-
more than 1 out of 10 were
Yep.
fake accounts.
Yeah, there's
What's going on in the world?
For-
What are we doing? What are we living?
For some people, it's upwards of 30% of the accounts that follow them are fake.
Oh,
Wow.
we get it all the time on Instagram.
Yeah.
How often do you post something that's like share here, blah blah blah, or
Yeah.
you know,
And
it's
there,
true.
there is
hey, I'm interested in marketing you. Sure you
yeah,
are.
DM me
Yeah.
for this, and I'm
Some-
like, no, I
there's
won't.
Some Indian king.
there's a big thing happening on YouTube now, actually, where people are making fake accounts and targeting big YouTubers' followers and offering them like, oh, you want a prize, blah blah blah, send me your information and all. So they'll make an account that looks very much like
The person they're following.
the person's account, and a lot of the YouTubers are like, we're getting people that are contacting us asking for their prize or that they got scammed and all of this and all that. He's like, why can't you get rid of these? Obviously, where it was 30% of the comments
Yeah.
on the video were spam targeting people,
Right.
to try to get them. So it was literally like almost everyone in the the comments below the video was getting targeted
Okay,
as
but-
for something.
For them, it's got to be a matter of resources, right? Because when you look at the statistics, and I don't know offhand how many videos are being put out every day,
Yep.
and then they can only have so many people filtering out shit that they really don't want on YouTube, like
Yep.
bad shit that gets put on there from sick individuals that they're trying to remove, and then now they also have to monitor people being scammed
Yep.
because of fake accounts
here-
and bots and things like that. So it's like, how much resources
yes.
can you really divert
the-
to all of these things?
The issue of scale is almost insurmountable. But there's been a couple of good ideas. MKBHD made a video about it, and he pointed out a simple thing. Where they have the ability to flag certain words. He's like, why should anyone be allowed to make a profile with my name
There's only
when I'm already on here with millions of followers? Why can't I not block anyone who's using my picture and name from making comments on my videos? All I have to do is tell you, don't let anyone use this name or this word. My full name, like,
right.
he had very logical and very easy ways of them at least mitigating it now.
We just need to wait for Overlord Antichrist Elon Musk to buy the whole thing.
Right.
And then we're
Yeah,
good.
but think
I
about
know
it. How
I've
many
seen-
people do you know with the name, let's say Logan, right?
Yeah.
You use Logan. Now you have to eliminate how many users with
Well,
Logan 3454, Logan
it's
Jr.,
not even-
Logan ABC.
It's not even. They're using specifically the people's real name and making accounts with that name and their image. So he's like, you don't even have to block them from everywhere on YouTube. Just give us the ability to flag.
So what do you do when
and
there's
block-
two Edward Roses?
Also, people are really dumb too. Like,
Right.
you get an inbox message and it's, "Hey, it's Michael Jackson. I'm not dead.
Yeah.
I need $500 for Uber." Like, fucking don't send it to him.
Yeah, but
He's dead.
Yeah,
He's
but that-
fucking dead.
But that's what he was saying. You don't have to block them from YouTube altogether. You just need, as the creator of the video, the ability to block the person from your video.
Right.
He's like, we don't got to block them from everybody.
You could create Sofa King
Hey,
accounts.
just-
Go
because
ahead.
some-
It's good,
sometimes-
but I'm sure that there are other logistics that come into play, and at the end of the day, they don't want to lose tons of followers, so they have to play this balance of getting rid of the trash and not losing legitimate people. You know, because what do they say? The best compliment of it's like somebody
Flattery.
copying you.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Imitation.
So somebody loves Logan and
This
they
is a
want to
really
be
good
Logan
strawberry.
Yeah.
on Xbox Gamer or Logan on YouTube. So you have to find that balance, because I do see what you're saying.
and that's what I mean. So it's not about banning that name from the platform altogether. It's about, if I upload a video, somebody shouldn't take my name and picture and then start targeting everyone in my audience. And if they do, I should be able to say, this person, not even that he's kicked off, he can't comment on my videos. That's it. If he can't comment on the video, he can't target people for scam. Literally, he showed a video.
You can't block people individually on YouTube.
The way it works, they're not able to block it that way. They need an ability to target a word, because what they're doing is they're sending the same message. So he showed his video, had 6,000 comments, 2,000 were identical spam messages
Right.
from 100+ accounts, but they're all sending the same
I got you.
comment. So all he has to do is go into it and say, this word can't be commented. And then it removes all of those. He broke it down. He's been on the platform for like a decade. He's been on there forever. He's talked with other creators, and it's not a perfect solution,
No.
but it is a temporary way to mitigate the fact that your entire audience is being targeted, and people are getting scammed.
Okay, but
People are getting into bank accounts. They're getting into
Right.
credit cards.
Sure.
People are finding out people's addresses, and
okay,
it's
but I see what you're saying. But then
They're stealing our dick pics.
Right, but then
Yeah.
they're stealing mine. But you get into this problem, right?
Nobody wants mine.
When the people see things like this, then you have the assholes that exploit these things, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because there were websites, like kids' websites, where kids would get together and they would do like raiding parties.
Yep.
And they would all jump into the website at the same time. They'd gather through Twitter and YouTube and all these things.
Oh, yeah.
Get hundreds of people, and they would go on to like CBS Kids game, and everybody types in the word duck.
Yep.
And they kept typing in the word duck so much that it would crash their servers.
Yep.
So then CBS would have to put their servers back up, but ban the word duck.
Yep.
So then they would just change the word to sheep. And
Yeah.
then they would crash this. So then you might, maybe, perhaps, leave yourself vulnerable to some kind of an attack that way if you start banning words. And I don't know enough to say so, but I'm thinking
Duck
that there's
spamming.
probably more. There's probably more to it why they can't do certain things. But it is
that's-
something that they need to figure
Now,
out.
and I do know the website you're talking about. That was an issue of scale as well. So YouTube is monstrously huge.
Right.
They don't have the issues of scale that other platform had. They had an issue where if they had enough people on at once, just commenting in general, it would effectively turn into a DDoS, a denial of service attack. It would just crash the servers because their
Right.
servers weren't intended to have that many people on at once communicating.
Right.
So that was an issue of they didn't have the hardware to back up their platform. And we see
Right.
this all the time. Look at Tiny Tina's came out. the first week, good luck getting any matches with other people because so many people were logging in. Their servers just kept failing. So even though they had, the amount of servers that they now figured they needed based on their last game because they had issues that all right, so at the end we ended up needing this many, not this many, so we'll start with this many.
Right.
And that ended up not being enough. And it started causing crashing again. So that's just the economies of scale.
Right.
They didn't have enough for the amount of traffic.
Okay, all right. Well, speaking of Tiny Tina's,
Yeah.
love the fucking game.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Haven't played it.
Super short DLC.
Now, that's what I was going to ask you
Super
about.
DLC.
Because we were just saying
Hour and a half.
that Borderlands has been known for
For its
making these
DLC.
fantastic,
Oh, yeah.
elaborate, large DLC packages, and people across the board are calling it a fail.
They're saying it's the worst Gearbox DLC. Now, granted, they do fantastic DLC. So their worst DLC is still worlds better than most other DLC.
And we're not shitting on Tiny Tina's because absolutely
No.
love the game, having a great time
I
with
played it. So here's the thing that people are missing. They designed the DLC to be replayable. It's a mission with, multiple maps and fights and blah, blah, blah. That you get to the end, you fight a big guy, and then he levels up. So when you go through it again, he's tougher. So the idea is to keep going through it multiple times.
So you can level your character.
He gets stronger and then starts dropping better loot as he gets stronger. And then all the enemies they added in those locations they added in also go into the Chaos Chamber, which is the end game for the game. So the DLC effectively added stuff to their end game Chaos Chamber. It added a whole series of fights with a new boss that is intended to be replayable. It's like what they did with Mad Moxie. It's almost like instead of a single arena, you're going through 7 or 8 maps to get to a guy at the end that you fight, and you're supposed to play it multiple
Basically,
times.
it's a grind map.
is so
It's a loot and grind map.
Yes.
So if you want to make a new character and level them up to 40 and then run through the storyline, you can go ahead and you can do some shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was probably just not marketed properly, perhaps,
No,
to the general
I
audience?
think if anything, they needed a map expansion first, and then something like this second. I think this coming out first. I mean, it's great. It came out this close to when the game
of
launched.
the launch, yeah.
But it's not a tremendous. Like I said, it was an hour and a half, and that was because I was making sure I found every chest as I went on before I moved on to the next map, because there's hidden chests in the maps. So it's not a very long time to actually get through and beat it. And if you're not the person who likes to grind and just play this, those
Right.
missions like that over and over and over again.
I'm a JRPG guy.
Well, then-
That's all I do is grind.
He's like, I'm all about the grind.
I'm
He's
all
like,
about
I
the
just want
grind.
Tiny Tina's and I just want the DLC.
But
I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna
like,
grind that
grind
shit.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, some people played the game to the point I think the initial game is 20 chaos level. So when you beat the game, you can go through the chaos chamber and level up how hard the game is up to 20 times.
Right.
I've done it 3 or 4 at this point, but now this DLC bumped it up to 35. And there's people the day of, they're like, I can up at 35, and they're like, what have you done?
Nothing.
So the
else.
game came out, and that's all you did. You just mainlined to the end guy, and just chaos chamber, just go, bump the difficulty up higher. It's like
kind of take away the fun of the game.
I'll go play
like
another
that.
story, which I did. I knocked that out in an hour and a half. I enjoyed it. It was good maps. It was a good story. It was a good fight. I got through it, and then I saw Control was on sale, and I fucking bought the DLC for that because the main game was fantastic, and I spent hours
playing that
DLC, and it is a wonderful addition to an already fantastic game.
Yeah, my best DLC probably for me would be what they did with Skyrim. What they did with Skyrim or The Witcher 3 was fantastic.
Well,
Yeah, the one on Witcher
which
3.
DLC? Because there's a couple. I think the vampire one was.
I
my
like
favorite.
Dawnguard.
Dawnguard. Yeah, that was.
Even
a
though
fantastic
Dragonborn
DLC.
is good. Dragonborn, it throws back to Morrowind.
Yeah.
It throws back.
Yeah.
You can actually go to Stolzheim and see the and
Yes.
and it's funny because you go there and there's the whole island is the same.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at things you looked at in Morrowind.
I didn't play Witcher 3 until the Game of the Year version. I waited for the version with all the DLC.
So you just got Hearthstone.
I never played the baseline original, which apparently didn't have a proper ending until you had the DLC. So I don't know the base game minus the DLC.
Blood and Wine is fantastic.
Yeah.
The whole Kingdom of Toussaint and like the wine country, dude, it's so good. Oh my god.
So that would be your favorite DLC?
I might say, yeah. If I had to pick, I mean, because when Elder Scrolls does DLC, they do DLC right.
Yeah.
Like with Morrowind. With Morrowind, they did Blood Moon.
Yeah.
And then they did there was one where you went to the I'm trying to think of the name of it. But you went to the center capital city.
And the other main thing, especially because it's really the only games on console that allow mods.
Yeah.
So you take almost that piece of the gaming community from PC, and even though only
Borderlands allows mods too.
only like 20% comes over from like the PC community,
Yeah.
you do get all that like.
Oblivion had what? Knights of the Nine.
There's actually games that was just I forget the name of the game. It was just published, Forgotten City, and it's based off a mod that somebody made for Skyrim. So he made a whole like game essentially inside. So he made a whole expansion, almost his own DLC, and it was raved about so much that he was actually able to go and have it made as its own individual game.
Well, look at the whole genre of video games, MOBAs and stuff.
Yeah.
That all spawned off like Warcraft 3.
What's MOBAs?
Like
they hate that shit came off of those games and they got no part of it. Because it was open source. They basically
that's why they made
sourced.
Heroes of the Storm. They were like, okay,
Yes.
we're going to try to cash in here.
Yeah, and that's why they changed all their source code. So like if you get their
Legends,
new
all that.
downloads and update the game, they remove all of that shit. And then
Blizzard's in trouble, and Blizzard's in trouble until they drop Diablo 4.
I tried playing some of my Blizzard games that I got on my PC. I can't even play them now.
You can't play Warcraft
You can't
anymore?
play them offline. No. You can only play the story mode offline.
That's
any
bullshit.
of the custom maps and custom campaigns, which is the way I normally like to play it, to just kill some time, you're not allowed to. You have to play online.
Is
to
Warcraft
play
dead?
To me it is.
No, the original, like where we could play the computers together.
You would have to have the disc to install, because if you try to do it now,
off the Blizzard
they give you the new version of the game and people are hating it. Especially the fact that you can't play almost anything offline anymore. You have to be online to play it.
Right, you have to be registered playing.
Yeah, so that goes for StarCraft, that goes for Warcraft. They really just shit the bed with what they did, but they're trying to take back the fact that all the MOBA games that came off of Warcraft 3, they don't own any of it because they put it out there for people to make, and people made a bunch of games off it.
The modders were so good with Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
I remember you could go on, you could play like a Pokemon style game.
Yep.
You could play the Avengers style game. There was crazy stuff that people modded.
And it just comes down to that they want money from it.
Right.
Like they see how much millions of dollars is being generated
Look
by
at League
it,
of Legends.
and they get nothing.
Look at League of Legends. It spawned from that.
League of Legends, Counter-Strike. It's not the first time this happened with games, but several game genres have almost been created. Has almost been created off of them.
Ingenuity off of games like that.
And it's almost like, I mean, you could try to roll it back and take it back, but by doing that, you created game genres.
Yeah, but look at
you have a part of creating new entire game genres, and
it means nothing to them if they ain't filling their pockets.
Exactly.
Well, look at what they need any more money. Look what they did with WoW.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
No, they were.
WoW is having trouble lately. I think they're hoping a new expansion
it's been going
or something.
for how long now?
Yeah,
that's true.
It's been forever.
Yeah.
It's been forever. It's about time they maybe. But I mean, how do you do a part 2?
You don't.
I mean, you get rid of decades of game and maps and bosses and things that have already created. It's too.
That's the
too
trouble
much
when something like that kind of like gains traction in a way that they weren't kind of expecting, and then it just becomes larger than them.
And that's
then
why
how do you contain
Destiny
it?
is still on Destiny 2, and we don't got a Destiny 3, and they're not going to stretch to a number 3 for a long time because it's resetting the whole universe.
Sure.
Because they haven't really designed a way to bring everything from 2 onto a new framework. You go from one game engine to the next, it fucks everything up. It rarely carries over, and generally you're rebuilding the game from scratch. So even if they want to, eventually what happens is the game just starts looking bad because the engine it's running on is old, and that's as good as it can get.
Right.
So a lot of the games right now a lot of the companies are looking at
Like
the
GTA
next
4.
Unreal Engine.
Which one is it? GTA 4?
We're on 5 now.
Yeah,
Five?
so the next Unreal
Waiting on
Engine
6.
is a lot of the games are going to be coming with that coming forward because the new one just finally fully released. So you're starting to see like, oh, you know, the next Gears of War is supposed to be on there. The next Hellblade is supposed to
Right.
be on there. There's a bunch of companies that,
We're
you know,
taking the next step.
yeah, that'll be so the next probably in like 2 years you'll start seeing like, oh, here's what these consoles can actually do because they're no longer hindered by the older software.
Okay, so here's a thought, right? That I never quite understood. Like a game like the original World of Warcraft, right?
Yeah.
Not the World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
People love that game. Still really love playing those kinds of games.
It destroyed
How
lives.
come they never, like now that Microsoft, they have a chance to take something like that and bring it to console?
Yep.
Do you think that they're gonna do that? Like me personally, if they did, I would play it, even just for nostalgia's
yeah,
sake.
the console.
Final Fantasy 14. stuff
They
like that.
they have an Elder Scrolls
Elder
Online
Scrolls
on console.
Yeah.
No, right. But I'm talking about like RTS.
Yeah.
Real-time strategy games have done terribly.
Yeah, the
on
RTSs
consoles.
don't.
Halo Wars was the biggest one to me,
The-
and then the other one outside of that was Command and Conquer.
The really out.
And they haven't made
yeah.
a Command and Conquer in how long?
XCOM,
And
Warhammer.
Right. And then there was the other one with the different world leaders, like Napoleon and shit like
Oh,
that.
Civilization.
Civilization.
Yeah.
But like in the newer consoles, you
They,
really haven't seen any of them.
The RTSs
come to
just
play.
don't carry over the right way without a mouse.
Okay,
That's-
make a mouse.
That's part of the problem.
Oh, make a mouse peripheral.
Like-
how difficult is it?
I think
Make a new controller specific to the RTS
they've
genre.
they've done it before, but people just in general, people just don't play RTSs on console.
because they haven't been done right.
No, they
Like,
haven't.
That's like when I played Halo Wars as an RTS. I don't know if you ever played it. It's done fantastically.
Oh, it was also designed for console.
Exactly. So you can still take the concept of World of Warcraft. Now you have World of Warcraft. Make a World of Warcraft game,
Yep.
RTS, built for console.
The problem is
You have the IP. You can build on it.
without a keyboard and mouse, you can't play competition level RTS. But when I tell you they're like typing, they're typing full speed because there's shortcuts.
If you ever look at their hands, it's
There's
insane.
shortcuts for everything in the RTS games. So quite literally, it's not just the issue of the mouse. All those shortcuts are gone when you're on console.
but
So
you
it's
leave-
almost two different games. Even if they bring it over and they give you a mouse, if they don't give you a keyboard, it's two different. You'll never.
All you're saying
I
to
mean,
me
it's-
is you're leaving room for innovation.
It's a bigger divide to bring an RTS console versus PC versus a shooting game console versus PC. You will absolutely always lose to a PC RTS player versus a console player.
And that's fine. You have the ability now. Here's an open field, an open market, to innovate, create a new peripheral that would work with the console specifically for RTS.
The new peripheral would be a mouse and keyboard. That's all it would have to be.
Or something along the lines of that. You
Well,
can
they
create
got-
something new. Look at Nintendo. Those motherfuckers keep creating new shit.
Get
somebody from over there. Walk over to fucking the guys making Mario and Koopa and all that shit. Yo, guys, we need some of your innovation. Bring that shit over here.
Yeah.
Make something new for the consoles. And I think because to me, like there's a huge hole in RTSs for consoles that could be revitalized with an IP like Warcraft. Here's somebody doing. We're bringing Warcraft to consoles. Here's the new controller. Here's the new keyboard.
Yeah.
Warcraft was on the PlayStation.
I think part of
Warcraft 2 was even on the PlayStation.
I think some of it is also when you're sitting on a couch, you end up having you'll need a table because you'll need somewhere for the mouse to go. You'll need somewhere for, even if it's the little 1/3 keyboard where it's just that chunk for the one hand, you'll have to have that to sit somewhere. And I think that throws off the whole playing on the couch feel.
Bring back the Power Glove.
Because that thing always works fantastic.
Just don't sweat.
Yeah, you fry yourself.
Put something that you could wear around your neck, where you got a little table that sits right in front of you, and you could be like,
Yeah, this will work.
no, yeah, it won't create
Gotta-
years of arthritis like in 2 weeks' time. And I think you leave room for innovation for things like that for new.
Yeah, no. I think Dungeons 3 was one of the best RTS games that translated over onto the console. But even then, there's points where you're playing it where you're like, God damn, I just need a mouse. It would have been so much easier to do this stupid little thing if I would have just had a mouse. And they have made them before for the consoles, but I don't know. I don't see the people, because there are. Like I said, Dungeons 3s is on there. You can play some RTS games, but I don't see them really getting played that heavily on the console. I think so far they're still, on PC, because you don't need a tremendous amount of horsepower to play them. Your everyday laptop, you can throw an RTS on. So it's not like you're starved where you're like, man, I just can't get this to play anywhere. I just wish it was on my... No, you could throw it on like any $200 laptop.
Yeah. What about you, Ian? Is there any specific genre of game that you think that there's like a gap in that you liked to play that isn't available for you to see or play anymore?
I mean...
Because you're playing Chrono Cross, right?
Yeah.
So for you to play Chrono Cross, there's probably a lapse in what? Some
JRPGs. Well, it's just you got to make sure they. I mean, I haven't played Tales of Arise. I have Tales of Arise for the PS5 ready to go.
Yep.
It's ready to go. I just got to finish Chrono Cross. Supposedly it was great. It got RPG of the year.
Yep.
Either last year or the year before.
Game looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks great, and supposedly it's good. It's an action RPG, so you're putting in like fighting codes. You'll fight the enemy in a random battle, and you're moving around the battlefield using moves, attacking. You got spellcaster, shit like that. So
is it like a Final Fantasy kind of game?
Kind of like, I mean, yeah and no, because like the Tales series is its own thing.
Okay.
Like Final Fantasy has always historically usually been turn-based until 12.
Yeah.
Once it got to 12, it changed the battle system.
I think that's what's been going away is the turn-based game in general.
Which bugs me because you can still do it right.
Yeah.
And that's why I think turned me off.
Look at Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, and Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest 11 was one of the greatest JRPGs I've ever played. And it came out 2-3 years ago.
Yep.
Right.
And it was turn-based. It just did it. Everything that we were used to and that we loved, it did it better. And I was like, well, shit. You still can do it. There you go.
Yeah.
They did it.
Is that a PS exclusive?
No. It's on everything. I think it might be on Xbox. You can probably get on Xbox. You can get on the Nintendo.
Dragon Quest?
Okay.
Yeah, Dragon Quest 11.
It is free on Xbox with Game Pass.
There you go. There you go. See, make sure you get the...
Look at that, Shay. Free on Xbox.
Make sure you get the definitive edition.
What I find...
It's definitively free.
Yeah, because
on Xbox.
Because Dragon Quest, they didn't even add anything new to the way the turn-based works. I've played other turn-based games where the attacks have a range of the way they work on like a grid system. You got to move your characters around, and it was an excellent game. And like they're like, we don't need to necessarily break the formula, come up with something new to make this work. Because there's been tons of different ways to do the turn-based.
Okay.
But in general, they've all been moving towards the action RPG style now. With the game,
but they fucked it up with Final Fantasy 15, man. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. And supposedly Final Fantasy 16 is coming out. Trailer looks good. I was pushed more to trying to get a PS5 because of how good it looked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, they dropped a teaser for Dragon Quest 12. Rumor on the street is they're altering the battle system.
Oh.
So that's not something you're looking forward to then.
I mean, every single Dragon Quest fan, they're probably their asshole puckered up because they waited. What you're about to do after 11 games, after 20 plus, almost 30 years, you're doing what?
I mean, if they keep it turn-based,
literally 30 years.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, if they keep it turn-based, but if they, like I said, they move in a direction to make it more in depth with the way you want to choose your moves, that's fine. But if they take it and they go action style all of a sudden, I think that's...
Well, JRPGs are broken up usually into the three. They're broken up into your classic turn-based. You have a line, they have a line, and then you move in speeds, and you can either choose active, where like the things still move, they still attack, or wait, where you can put in your code. Well, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, and it's more thinking. It's more technical. Then there's the action RPG, which it's still you got your party, but everybody's doing crazy shit. That's the Tales. That's the Tales series.
Right.
The Tales series is like there's even some that have been multiplayer.
Yeah.
Where like you're sitting on the couch with your friend. And a big one was Tales of Symphonia. Like, if you have 4 controllers, you can have a team of 4 people playing.
Taking
You control the
care of the
healer.
fight.
You control the healer. You control the spell guy.
That's kind of
And,
cool.
Yeah, but once it went to the actual exploration, everybody's waiting while the first player is doing the puzzles and shit. And so it was fun, you know. It was fun. And they let us know when the battle shows up, you know.
Yeah.
So.
But you know what? Look, it's already shown. People love watching people play video games.
Right.
And if they have like a little chance to chime into and be a part of it while they're watching the main player do the main thing, you know, everybody's
And
having
the
a good
third
time.
one, which is the lesser known one but still has fantastic games in it, is the tactical style. And the tactical style is the puzzles, is the blocks.
Yes, the big block system.
You move your characters around a grid system,
Okay.
and like you get certain advantages from attacking behind, positioning for range characters, shit like that helps.
Yeah.
I think I
And this
played
is-
one game like that.
And this is your Final Fantasy Tactics, your Disgaea, your
It's
front
almost
mission.
it's almost like Hero Clicks, but in a video game.
Was that
Yeah.
Dishonored? Did Dishonored play that way?
Dishonored? No.
I can't remember what game it was that I played. It was kind of like an old Civilization style
Like
game,
you
but
moved in blocks
it
and
was
stuff.
moving around the field tactically and
that's a separate part of JRPGs. That's
Now-
a whole other genre.
Now, Grandia
There's a Digimon game coming out soon for the PS5 that is a a tactical JRPG
Okay.
style, and I'm telling you right now,
Now-
I will be playing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Grandia had a system that was live-ish. So
I know what you're talking about.
So
yeah.
it had a clock with everyone's picture on it, and you'd move around the clock based on your speed.
Yeah, the
So-
faster people moved quicker through the
So
thing.
as you're going through your
Okay.
characters, you can start lining up. All right, do this, then this, then this. Go to your next guy. You do this, and then you could choose attacks even based on slowing down your enemy's next
and
attack.
it showed the enemies too, so
Yeah,
you knew when they were coming.
Okay.
I loved getting through the battle and fighting in a way
What
where
was-
the enemy didn't get to attack
What
at
was
all.
the main character's name in Grandia? It was like a regular name. It was like,
I-
the name of the guy was like it was not an RPG.
it was like Jerry.
Dude, yeah, it was something. It was like I'm gonna look it up right now.
I don't even remember, but that was
Grandia
that was
is good though. Grandia
yeah.
is widely considered one of the better RPGs of all time.
because it was a form of action. You can move around. You can actually run around the almost arena where you're fighting and everything.
It was
But-
also colorful and it was voice acting.
Yeah, as you were
which was
watching the
weird.
clock,
it was unusual for the time.
you got to see who was coming up next. Say, all right, I'll pick this person and you can try to you can visually see everyone moving around and choose where you want to go from there. So it worked out very well from my perspective, but I haven't seen too many people try to do it. Same thing like Legend of Dragoon. I haven't seen anyone try to do that style of fighting either. It's more or less
Could it be a copyright issue?
everyone kind of takes their own and doesn't want to almost take from anybody else. They don't want to
Right,
even take
right, right,
inspiration from
Justin.
anybody else.
His name was Justin.
Extra forgettable.
Get it,
It's okay.
Justin.
It's all right, Justin. It's all right.
Another genre that I've missed is
I remember that. What the hell?
is boxing games.
Yeah.
I know we've said it in the past,
Worst
but like,
Fight Night Round 5.
I would really like another boxing game. Like,
And-
I don't know what it is, but like,
Well-
I've missed playing a good fight night
And,
boxing.
now you can put Tyson Fury in.
That
it.
Rocky Balboa one came out, but
Canelo?
I haven't really heard anything about it.
What console is it on?
It's on all the consoles.
So I can download it now and play Rocky
You
Balboa?
should be able to.
All right, I'm gonna try it.
And I think
I'm
it was
gonna give
only
a shot.
it was only a $40 game. It wasn't a 60 because unlike the issue with the
That
boxing
one, that one
games-
boxing game you had me playing pissed me the fuck off because it's like I picked fat ass.
Oh,
That was
like-
an old school fight night.
I picked fucking
it was
fat ass.
what championship or
I
some
guess.
shit? Yeah,
I
it wasn't
picked,
good.
I picked fat '90s like George
Yeah.
Foreman ball,
Yeah.
selling Meineke brakes, grills, and like I picked him because I'm like, oh, George Foreman, hardest puncher in boxing history.
Yeah,
Great, I'm gonna pick him. And then literally, like it says, oh, I can pick 1970s
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
George
here's-
Foreman.
Listen,
Here's
Listen,
decrepit
why didn't you
George
tell
Foreman.
me?
Everybody that picked Mike Tyson won.
Yeah.
Everyone that it didn't. It's like, oh, I won, but now this person got it. Now I just got crushed. What?
Even-
It was just pick Tyson
Even
and win.
that kid on the airplane lost to Mike
He was
Tyson.
Superman.
Yeah, he did. He
Yo,
did.
let's talk about this because that motherfucker deserved it.
You're being an asshole.
He deserved to get punched by Mike Tyson.
You're
Mike
standing-
Tyson tried so hard. Like
Yeah.
when you
There
were
is-
watching Mike, he was eating it and eating it and eating it. And at one point, he's just like, I
Where-
have to hit this
Where
motherfucker.
are the stewardesses and everybody else that's on the plane that should be telling, hey, asshole, that's drunk and harassing people and what's clearly at least first class
Yep.
to go sit the fuck down.
Or
There
move,
is a-
move Mike Tyson at that point.
There
right?
is a list of people that you do not fuck with, let alone on a plane confined
where
area.
you can't get away.
And Mike Tyson's name at least has to be top 15. I mean,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
like what the fuck were you thinking?
So,
sir,
he had to know. He had to know.
Yeah, because his friend was
I'm
filming him.
I'm gonna fuck with him, and to the point, I get hit, and then I'm gonna sue him, right? And that should be illegal too.
It should be.
The intent behind it, right? A
Yeah.
friend is filming.
Yeah.
You're harassing. At some point, a punch in the face is justified.
It is.
You know, and it could be said that Mike Tyson held back a lot
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that
Oh.
motherfucker would have been hospitalized if he would have let loose with the full fury of
absolutely.
Mike
Oh
Tyson.
my God.
He just finished getting down to weight and training for a fight. If he really wanted to tee off on that guy, it would have been a seriously bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
It was like spanking a child.
when you feel like
basically.
being a drunk asshole, not that you should ever, and you feel like harassing people, just try not to pick a guy that at one point in time was legitimately the baddest man on the planet. Please try to choose more wisely, sir.
Yeah, I just hope that whatever judge, whatever jury, whatever people get involved
throws that
with this,
case out.
throws
Throw it
that
right
case
the
out
fuck
because
out. Like,
he
come
doesn't
on.
deserve to get caught up on this
Yeah.
bullshit.
You
I
guys
mean,
let Casey Anthony go. Let Mike Tyson go. What the hell? I just saw Casey Anthony in O'Shea's. She's doing fine. All right, give Mike Tyson a come on.
Yeah,
give him
give-
the guy.
give him a free pass.
He's not young Mike Tyson anymore.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything too much more about it yet.
he's
You know,
suing him. They just said that he's
Great.
pulling out
great.
a lawyer.
Well, sir,
to
I
sue
hope
Mike
I hope
Tyson.
all the tires pop on your car. I hope you have problems with the plumbing in your house. I
Yep.
wish all the bad things on you, sir.
Yes.
You're a shit human being.
And your mom.
Somebody's
Yes,
buzzing.
And your mother.
That might.
Oh, good
Oh,
job,
thanks a lot,
Ian.
Ian. What the hell did you do?
I don't know how this happened.
So outside of Mike Tyson, Amber Heard, the Johnny Depp.
Looking like a proper
trial.
asshole in court.
I think Johnny
Shitting
Depp
in
is looking
people's
like a
beds.
G. He's
Yep.
looking like a G. I don't think the way that he's been explaining things, I do really feel bad for him. Like,
Yeah.
like
well, he's
fuck.
looking more and more like the victim, and it's good. It's a
Well,
good
let's
thing.
be honest. He also had her assistant testify against her, and then I believe his assistant testified against her, and then his exes testified on his behalf, saying no, he's not that type of person.
Right.
So when everybody around you, including your people, are testifying against you, hey, you're the asshole.
So here's the question: how good was the sex with Amber Heard? That he had to stay around with that crazy shit after somebody shits on your bed. That's a no-go. That's,
Yeah. Well, for some people, it's a green light.
so for some people, it's a go-go.
It's a go-go.
It's a go-go.
It's a
It's a
go-go.
go-go.
It had to be fantastic.
It had to be.
He was getting that like sweet Aquaman friggin'
Yeah. Mira?
Mira.
Yeah.
He was getting.
I mean, look, she's hot, but there's nobody that's that hot that you're
That
gonna
you're willing
deal with
that you're willing to take
that kind
ass
of
beatings
craziness.
all day.
No. It's just, but it is a crazy double standard as well when you see those kinds of things, because one incident where a man hits a woman and it's not right at all.
No.
And they will get away with they would be locked up, thrown in jail, lock away the key kind of a deal. Rightfully so. Nobody should be able to hit somebody else.
Unless they attack you with like a
Right,
meat
unless you're
cleaver,
self-defense.
Yeah.
Right.
If she
But-
comes at you with a meat cleaver, guys, don't be chivalrous.
Protect-
Drop her.
pr-
Drop her on the spot.
Protect yourself.
And then it's like
Protect your neck.
Here you have a woman with multiple assaults, and she admits to hitting him.
Word.
And it's like, well, we need a court case for this. Do we?
Well, then she starts distinguishing. She's like, I never punched him. I hit him. Oh, sorry. Wow. All right.
No, but we've all known.
Because
or
an open hand strike from Boss Rutan doesn't hurt him.
Yeah, exactly.
I assure you, he could slap the piss out of you.
Yeah. But we've all seen these kinds of relationships where people just they don't belong together and
But they stay.
And it's
I wouldn't
just-
know anything
it's
about
something
that.
crazy, dude. It's
wouldn't know
something
anything
crazy,
about that.
especially when it gets violent. Yeah, I wouldn't know nothing about that. I think
I'm
that's a
not familiar. I'm
complete
not familiar
like
with this
run the other direction and never look back kind of a deal. But what are you gonna do? When pretty people, they get away with shit.
They do. They do.
They get away with shit that ugly people cannot. Because if
No, they
she
don't.
was half as good looking as she
Oh,
was,
if that was Roseanne, oh man, if that was Roseanne hitting
Yeah.
somebody,
fuck,
Not at all.
throw away the
35 years in prison.
key. Throw away the key.
Maximum. They'd lock and put her on. I mean,
To be
that
fair,
pri-
Roseanne's pretty ugly.
oh yeah, Alcatraz isn't even in prison anymore, and they would put her in Alcatraz.
They would open it back up. They would
Just for
reinstate. Just Roach.
She'd be in one cell in the center of the prison, like sealed away, like with like enchantments on the
Be like,
bars.
fill that moat with alligators.
Oh shit, she ain't never getting out.
Don't
Well,
let
speaking
them-
of people getting the shit punched out of them, Tyson Fury fought yesterday in England.
How'd it go?
He fought in front of 94,000 people. They added extra seats to Wembley for it.
Wow.
It was the largest fight ever in front of a live crowd in Europe, ever.
Shit.
And he won in round 6 with a knockout. He knocked out Dylan White with an uppercut. And then he kind of retired. Kind of said,
I mean,
like,
what else is he gonna do?
me personally, well, this is weird. Like, I'll tell you all about it. Me personally, I streamed it illegally, because it happened at 2 p.m. because it was in England, you know.
We don't do that here.
Yeah, of course not. We don't.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I
allegedly,
illegally streamed it. Anyway,
Yes.
so we watched the. I watched the fight.
The link to illegally stream will be at the bottom of the
see the
website.
link.
No,
Just go
no, it
to
won't. No,
It'll-
it won't.
It
No.
won't be- no.
Like, subscribe, illegally stream.
Illegally stream. Pirate.
I must say, our lawyers would say no. Do not illegally stream.
No, don't do that.
DM me.
But so he won. He looked great. He and then he sang. He sang "Bye Bye Miss American Pie." He sang it. But it's funny because you ever hear 94,000 people sing along? It's pretty damn loud.
It's
And,
a pretty
amazing.
known
It's
song.
a
pretty
That's amazing.
So he got the whole Wembley stadium singing to him, and then he retired. He thanked the British fans. He said, "I owe it to you guys." Blah blah. I wanted to have one big fight here in England, and then he retired. But like, I kind of like.
You want more?
I want to see him fight Usyk. I want to see. I know Usyk is doing the noble thing, and he's defending the Ukraine right now. Props to you, Alexander.
Yep.
You're a G.
Yep.
So are the Klitschko brothers. But I want the. We still have not seen the belts unified. In
Yeah.
God knows how long. I don't even know when. The last American champion we had
And you
was
wonder why you
Hasim
can't get a
Rahman.
boxing
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, you're right. It's
When
absolutely
there's
right.
when there's like 10 heavyweight belts, all for the same weight
And a
class.
lot of the best
because
heavy-
everybody wants their own fucking belt.
And
That's
also
the problem.
the best heavyweights aren't American. They're
Yep.
not. They're coming out of the Ukraine. They're coming out of England.
Yep.
They're not American.
They're
I mean,
coming
you got-
out of areas where people are desperate and they need a way to get the fuck out.
Yeah, you got Deontay
That-
Wilder.
But
And
that's,
that's
historically how the best fighters
That's
have always been created.
Always,
absolutely.
That's always been in boxing. It's
Yeah.
always been out of areas that were very poor and people that was their means of getting out.
Sure. So he said he promised his wife. He said he promised his wife after the third Deontay Wilder fight that he would retire. But he said, I wanted to give the English fans a mega super fight. He did.
Yep.
The number one guy in the world that he fought was Dylan White, another Englishman. Made him look embarrassing. Knocked him out with a perfectly placed uppercut. I mean, he literally hit him with the punch and then pushed him and watched him fall over and held his hand up. Like it was an amazing.
Jesus.
If you guys haven't seen the punch, you guys see, it was amazing. He pretty much said, he showed everybody, I am the best heavyweight on the planet right now.
That's what's up.
But after he retired,
Yeah.
they're talking and everything, the press and everything, the reporters are there. Francis Ngannou was in the crowd, UFC heavyweight
Okay.
champion,
Huh.
and he comes into the ring and they start talking about this possible hybrid fight,
Interesting.
a fight in which there will be no grappling and no takedowns, supposedly, but it'll be done with MMA gloves on.
Ooh.
Okay.
So
I can see that.
now they're going to try to get like a champion versus champion fight for a shit ton of money. Big payday for Francis.
A boxing match essentially, but with small gloves.
Yes.
I still think, even though Francis Ngannou is a dangerous, bad motherfucker,
I think Tyson Fury beat the
Tyson
shit out of him.
Fury is
It's
just
There's levels.
It's
His
a different.
skill set
It's a
is
different
levels
game.
far
It's
beyond.
a different.
Yeah.
If
Just like
Tyson,
Now, if they allowed kicks,
if
they
Tyson
if they
had,
allowed some kicks,
that's what I was gonna
or
go.
wrestling.
That's what I was going. If Tyson had to meet him more on the side of MMA,
He would lose.
Yeah.
yes.
Because he's
But-
one-dimensional. He's literally a triangle that's so thin.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
If
all
it's but if
this
it's
way.
just boxing rules, then he's
Yeah.
got him all day
No,
long. But it's
no,
like,
he
okay,
can't.
you allow kicks. Well,
His
he's
reach.
It comes. You know, the more you allow, the further it comes across. Because we've seen before where boxers even just having kicks allowed made a fucking bad day for the boxer.
Yeah, and we haven't seen anyone get hit by Francis Ngannou and really be able to take it.
Yeah.
But I think if there is a guy that can take a shot from Francis Ngannou,
Rocky
it's
Balboa.
fucking Tyson Fury.
Oh yeah, him too.
Rocky
Rocky
Balboa.
Rocky Balboa.
the most technical boxer of all
All right,
time.
all right,
Yeah.
all right. Here's how
Blocks
we're,
every shot with his
here's
face.
how we're gonna end it. If you can pick a fight, fictional or realistic. It could be fictional characters, TV characters. If you want to put a fictional with a realistic character, a fight that you want to see, that you would love to see happen. who would it be? Ed, start with you.
You know, there's one that always pops up on the internet, and it's Goku versus Superman.
Ooh.
And it's one that it always pops up, and it always comes down to, well, which version of Superman?
Yeah.
Which version of Goku? Are we going Dragon Ball Z Goku, or are we going Dragon Ball Super Goku?
Are his powers
Right.
mystic?
Does
But
he
don't
have
they always say
magic?
Superman would win?
Superman's a general consensus. They've had 2 death battles on it. It's the only death battle that they redid again because of new information. after
Yeah,
Super.
it's hard to say because I think if they allow Goku, if you take Goku from Super, I don't.
No.
It's
Ultra Instinct?
Yeah,
Ultra Instinct Goku?
it becomes like, well, he's now fighting for the entertainment and against other universes and gods.
God level.
So once you're fighting on the level of gods,
You got Kingdom Come Superman. Sorry.
But Superman, on the other
and-
hand, is
and
a
this
god.
is where the conversation goes off the rails because you go, which version? Do you have the original Superman?
When they
No,
co-
so
do
you
you
gotta
have
go with
the
the
new-
strongest version of Superman versus the strongest
Well, and they
version
covered
of Goku.
that. They even said that depends on who wrote Superman.
I mean, the strongest
Okay.
version of Superman is Superboy.
Well, there's versions of Superman that he sneezes and blows away solar systems. So
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? What are we
That's what I'm
talking
saying.
about? What are we
That's what
talking
I'm
about?
saying. But in your mind, in your world, who then would be your choice for victory?
I think you go with Goku.
Okay.
Wow.
Here's the main thing that people always forget. The main power that the Saiyans had was the ability to overcome.
Okay.
Every time they had an obstacle that was stronger than them, they managed to overcome it with a new level. That was their whole thing.
They get stronger after a loss.
I
Instantly.
mean, DBZ, Dragon Ball started the whole issue with fucking power scaling.
It did.
They were the creators, the issue, and they even hit a wall where they're like, we ran out of people in this universe. Multi-universe
Yeah.
fight! Bring
Yeah.
the gods in!
Yeah.
Right.
Like, they ran
had
out
to.
of fucking where they could go.
Yeah, after Boo, it's like, what do you do?
Exactly.
What
So,
do you do?
but if you go by canon, Goku and all the Saiyans in general, their main ability was that they would always find a new gear to overcome the obstacle
I
that
love-
is considered unstoppable.
Okay.
I love Goku. And I don't know.
Can you be unstoppable if Superman lasers your skin off and you're nothing but a pile of ashes?
Well, they're both moving at light speed, though. They're both moving
Yeah,
at like
well-
insane speeds.
Well, you also got to remember, Goku can outright just teleport. It's not even moving at speed. He straight teleports.
Right, instant transmission.
All
Yeah.
right, so that's yours. Ian, what about you?
Oh my god. I'll go with if I could watch a fight, I'll go with 4 fights. One of them is fictitious, but it's still based off real people.
Okay.
3 fights that are real that can actually happen in boxing and possibly save the sport. One of them, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Mikey Garcia.
Okay.
I want to see that because they always talk on Twitter, and they're 2 lightweight fighters that are exciting and could breathe life into the sport. I want to see Tyson Fury stick around do your freak fight, make your money, beat Francis Ngannou's ass. That's fine, but then I want you to fight Alexander Usyk and please unite the belts.
Okay.
Please bring the 4
Okay.
belts together so we can say right there. Then ride off in the sunset. Then you're done. Right there is the first time and how God knows how long that the heavyweight championship is finally united again. Best of our
Historical
generation.
moment.
Best of our generation.
Historical moment.
You can hang. You
Okay.
can hang your crown on the wall. You were the best heavyweight of our lifetime.
Fantastic.
Right off in the sunset. Another fight that needs to happen in boxing that can save it is Errol Spence Jr.
Versus Jake Paul.
No,
No.
no, definitely not. No, I want to see Jake Paul fight the Bright Line.
Oh, man.
But anyway, no, Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Bud Crawford out of Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
That fight is probably for one of the, you could argue, top dog pound for pound.
All right, I'm going to beat both of y'all. I apologize for this in advance because I did think about this ahead of time. It's Amber Heard versus Jada Pinkett Smith.
Wow.
And they're allowed to throw feces.
Amber's got her. If you're throwing doo-doo, Amber's got her. That's the scat queen.
Will Smith is the referee.
Oh, man.
He's allowed to slap people.
Johnny Depp's just beating off in the crowd.
Yeah, Johnny Depp is the judge.
Dressed as Jack Sparrow.
Just
You gotta put Jason Momoa in there.
I'll tell you, man.
Aquaman.
Street rules applied. Like no holds barred, throw chairs in there, bats, make it like a WWE match.
Lawrence
I'm all
Fishburne.
in.
Lawrence
Yeah.
Fishburne is there, guest referee. Jesus God.
Come on, wouldn't you not pay to see Amber Heard versus Jada Pinkett Smith?
I
in
just
the
can't.
ring?
I can't wait for the Amber Heard Dookie meme. I can't wait. They're coming. They're coming, baby. That's the Dookie Queen.
They need to bring back Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah.
That's what they need
And
to
that's the
bring
first one.
Fuck yeah.
That's the first one. Jesus.